everybody. Welcome. Apologies for the delay. It has been a day. We had technical difficulties, we had classroom difficulties, but one thing about a Dominican woman you should know is that we're very resilient and we will keep pushing even when the world wants us to, put obstacles in our way. So, a little bit about us. We are Kelo Tech. And Kelo Tech is a tech community group that got started last year. And it got started because we were all going to all these networking events and we met each other at these events and we kept running into each other. We're like, we should make this a thing. We should create a group where we can at a deeper level, at a more cultural level, because you can identify as Latina, you can identify as Black, you identify as white, but your particular culture is a whole different thing. Welcome. It's a whole different thing. So we noticed that when we got together, we just felt more understood. So we just started by just going out to brunch, finding some speakeasies. That was what we enjoyed. And we just kept getting more and more girls interested in being involved with the group. And eventually we're like, let's make a logo, let's make a name, and let's start creating events for everybody to join. So that's how we're here today. Let me introduce you to some of the ladies. The main person of the night is going to guide you through your vision boarding is going to be Carol.
So the point of tonight's event was essentially for you to dream as big as possible. And one of the things that we want to say is you do not want to be the one to tell yourself no. So whatever comes to your mind, don't be the first one to tell yourself no and say it's not possible for me. Think about how is it that I can make this possible? How can I make this dream of mine come true? So we want to reflect on our last year. We want to reflect on 2024 and give honor to what our experiences were and what is it that we want to come into 2025 with? What more of that experience, of those experiences that we had in 2024, is it that we want to implement into our new year, into 2025? So in order to walk us through this event and to kind of give us some tips and some insights on how we can approach this new year, what are some of the goals that we can set and some actionable items that we can implements into our 2025, we have several speakers that are going to speak on their areas of expertise. So we have Pabel Martinez, he's online. He's going to talk to us about the PLURAWL app. And actually, he's going to have to share his screen. No, I know, but he does want to share his screen.
So actually, y'all have kicked it off pretty well compared to like just some of the things that I was gonna say. So I mean, as you're thinking about your year and all the things you want to accomplish, the first thing you got to do is dream, right? You got to think about like, what the hell do I want to do this year, right? Some of y'all are like, I want to take X number of trips this year and be like, let's just do one, right? But meanwhile, you can do so many different things. But oftentimes, what's happening is that you're stopped in your tracks before you can even dream big because of what I call this invisible barrier. And it's happens to literally everybody. All right. If you look at data, 80% of all of our thoughts as humans are negative, and 95% of them are repetitive. Right. So on a daily basis, all of us are just stuck in this endless loop, this replay of self-doubt, unfortunately, right? And if this is a baseline, imagine if you are an underrepresented person surrounded by a group of people that don't look like you. You're constantly questioning yourself. Do I belong here? Should I even raise my hand? Should I have an opinion? Should I do this? I don't deserve that. I don't deserve this, right? Which is why I created the app PLURAWL. PLURAWL is an AI thought partner that will help you identify and overcome whatever limiting beliefs you're holding on to, right? So there are essentially like 10 limiting beliefs that we hold on to, and I'll give you a specific example, right? So when you're in the app, there are various ways you can process your thoughts, essentially vent and journal in a digital format. So imagine you open up the screen and you have a suggested prompt that is there for you depending on your previous journal entry. So for me, I talk a lot about the app that I'm building and just like days that I'm feeling not so confident in it, right? So the prompt for me, or the suggested thought was like, what's a small victory that you can achieve today to really boost your confidence in the app? And for me, I really start venting and talking about there's this voice in my head that makes me feel like I shouldn't even be building this app. I'm like, Calm has an app that's been popular. Headspace is really popular. Apple just launched their own journaling app. There's no way I'm gonna make it in this world with this app, right? What the app does is with one click of a button, it analyzes your journal entry and tells you what limiting belief you're holding on to. So imagine like it'll be like, Pabel, I think you're jumping to conclusions. Like, how are you trying to predict the future even though you can't, right? There's right now it's telling me I'm experiencing emotional reasoning. Now, these are certain things that if you would go to therapy, you can learn about, right? But think about how inaccessible, expensive, and out of pocket, even from just like a mentality standpoint, therapy is for a lot of our community. So for the price of therapists, which is can be up to like $200 an hour, you can get those similar sort of insights from an app for that entire year. Now, if you want to discuss deeper and click that button, it'll take you to a one-on-one conversation that you can have with the AI that we've developed in collaboration with a group of licensed certified therapists to continue furthering that thought process and making sense of your thoughts. So that is essentially just like a really quick demo of the app. I have established. So someone said, "Joe, what's the app called?" So the app is called PLURAWL. We can send you the links after, but I've established a trusted network of a handful of nonprofit slash community based organizations to essentially give them a discounted rate to them and their members. So use this code, GetLowTech25, to get 25% off of all of the plans that we have available. So if anyone downloads it in the App Store, and it's only available for iOS right now because I'm self-funding this just based on my 401k and my savings, but it's $20 a month, and the yearly plan goes down to $15 a month. With this code, the monthly plan goes down to $15 a month, and then the yearly plan goes down to about $12 a month. So it's a lot more affordable even compared to what everyone else is getting in the market. So take advantage of this exclusive code because not everyone has access to it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Pabel. I am sure that it is going to be extremely beneficial for
All of us just to have that thought partner, right? As Pabel mentioned, that can help us break those limiting beliefs. You might not even recognize that that is what you're experiencing, right? And that's the whole purpose of why he felt that it was so important to create this app where our community can engage and start breaking those thought patterns, right? Very good.
Exactly. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we are actually going to move on to Jaynee. We have Jaynee here that is going to give us some tips on our physical well-being. She's going to talk about some goals and some actionable tips on how you can get more movement in your routine, some of the things that you want to watch out for in terms of your nutrition as well. So I'm going to hand it over to Jaynee Mitchell, and she is a wellness and fitness coach. And if y'all want to ask her how old she is, because look at how amazing she is, you can. Privately. Okay? Exactly. Thank you so much.
I just want to say thank you for your time. Don't worry, you're not gonna have to work out today, even though I have my athleisure. Everyone always say that, like, is she gonna make me do any jumping jacks? But now I'm just gonna basically just start off with how I got started in my fitness journey. As a field hockey player, and then I decided after field hockey in high school that I wanted to continue working out. So I started teaching at my local gym. After I made my way through the local gym, I found my purpose. So I decided, hey, I want to go to college to get my degree in exercise science. So this was in 2001. The age is going to come up. I'm turning 52.
Ooh, okay.
This year.
I thought she was going to want to share it.
No, I'm going to share because it's part of the journey
Yeah.
to be here today.
Right. I don't know.
And to help everyone find their longevity. So this is where it starts at. And so that it makes more people aware and pay attention on what I have to say today and how it's going to be impactful for your life, because it's all about small changes and big impacts. So,
okay.
In 2006, I founded Body by Jaynee. As I discovered, it's not just about the body. It's about your well-being. we have to actually empower our mind. As he mentioned today, when you empower your mind, you nurture your spirit. And that's why Body by Jaynee no longer exists. It's now Life by Jaynee. And I had some principles that I actually wanted to get started with part of the routine today, because I know you guys are going to make a vision board. So we're going to start with the basics. I don't have the pinpoint, but the pinpoint will start off with 4 fitness pillars. 4 fitness pillars. The first one is strength training. Show of hands, how many people currently work out today? All right, few hands, okay. All right, so I'm gonna go slow and easy at a small pace for people who are not familiar with strength training, okay? Strength training, we think sometimes you have to go to the gym and work with the weights. Strength training involves not just weightlifting, it involves resistance bands. So resistance bands can be accessible. You don't have to go to a gym if you can't get to a gym. The gym can start in your home with purchasing resistance bands, because that's also strength training. And people don't understand that. They think they have to just go to the gym to work out. You can work out anywhere when you have resistance bands. That is 2 different ways to get strength training. The third one is body weight. As I tell all my clients, your body is the machine. You can do body weight training, and that will build strength. If I tell you to lean against this wall to do a wall squat for 60 seconds, that right there is building strength. If I tell you to hold a plank, that is building strength. If I tell you to do a plank, that is building strength. So overall, strength training starts with 1, weightlifting, resistance bands, and body weight. So that's pillar part 1, okay? Number 2 is cardiovascular training, endurance, and strength. So, how many people walk around the city?
I walk a whole lot,
Steps
commuting
you
all the
approximately
time.
think you approximately take a day. Can I get some numbers here? Amazing. The American Heart Association recommends 8 to 10,000 steps daily. Do most of you guys think you're getting 8 to 10,000 steps?
Yeah, probably.
Because we live in New York. But if you live in Ohio, I doubt it. So it's very important that's why I always tell people 10,000 steps for New Yorkers is no big deal. We take stairs, we lug our groceries, we're constantly moving our body daily. This is the impact about daily fitness. And that's why I always tell people movement is medicine. Movement is healing. Movement is joy. And all we got to do step by step is move daily. So we already have the strength training. But we have any questions about strength training? How many days you want to participate in strength training?
How many days? I want to know.
Okay.
I need to get that in my life.
Exactly. 2 to 3 days starting off. Let's start slow. Start with the basics, getting an exercise for each body part. I said start from the torso at the top. Do something for the chest. Do something for the back. Do something for the quads. Do something for the hamstrings. Do something for the core. Start there, and build your program from there. So we have the strength training for the first one. The second one is cardiovascular health, endurance, conditioning. It's kind of interchangeable, as everyone says, like, oh, did I do enough cardio? Cardio is for the heart. We want to keep our heart happy. So I always tell people, the walking, if you have the energy, go for a brisk walk. Use your arms. Grab a few handheld weights. If you don't have handheld weights, I always tell people you can go online and get a wrist guard that adds a little weight to the arms. Because what happens is, you're not just going, as we talked about strength training, it's building muscle. It's incorporating building stronger bones. We'll get more to that because I don't have an hour, so I'm trying to get a little bit of everything as more details. So cardiovascular, we want to make sure our heart stays happy, right? But what are the cardiovascular activities do we partake in besides walking? 1, you have swimming. Swimming is low impact. Swimming is the best form of exercise. You can Google facts me, they will say it, because it's low impact, it's easy on the joints. But do everyone have accessibility to swimming? Absolutely no. So we go with cycling. We have a city bike, grab a helmet, you can cycle. Number 3, we can walk on the treadmill. Technology, we have walking pads now. So you can get a walking pad. It's too cold outside, there's never an excuse. It's investing in your health. That's, we have cycling, rowing, and if you really have the energy, jump roping. That's another form of cardio. We have treadmill walking, running, cycling. We have rowing, we have jump rope, we have walking. These are all things that are going to keep our heart healthy. Okay? So I didn't forget about the Pilates and yogi people. How many people here are partaking in yoga or Pilates? Love that. So where did that come in with the pillars? We put that with flexibility and mobility. We know that when we have flexible muscles, we're going to get least amount of injuries. And when you, and mobility, you're going to move better, because when you're sitting down on the couch, you don't want to have to use your hands. You want to be able to power up with your quads. So building that mobility in the hips and building quad strength, the strength training, that's going to help you later on in life. It's not what we do now, it's for our future self, to live better, to live longer. So when you look at these pillars, 1, strength training, 2, cardiovascular health, 3, flexibility and mobility. We want to be able to not be in a wheelchair. We want to be able to use our limbs as long as possible, play, enjoy, hit the travels, do all these things. By starting the little steps, as I said, the little steps start with big impact. And that's what I've learned in my years of working in the health and wellness field, is attacking the strength training first, learning how to work your body. And that's why I put strength training as number 1. We build the bones, your bones are stronger. You fall accidentally, you bounce right back if you strength train. And when your muscles are atrophy, they get brittle. So that's why I always put strength training as the hierarchy. And you'll start hearing more researching about skeletal muscle, because we find that if you strength train, it's going to help you longer on. And everyone wants to burn the calories. Yes, it's so many benefits. I can for days, but I don't have days. I don't have hours. So I got to cut it short. All right, so let's go on. We have talked about flexibility and mobility. The 4th one is body composition. Body composition can be done in a DEXA scan, a hydrowater-static. But how do we measure? We get on a scale. We go to our doctor's appointments. And if you don't get your annual exams, start this year. You want to be able to know your benchmarks. So in 5 years from now, you're aware of what was your cholesterol, what was your BMI. BMI, that's a whole cultural thing. Can't go there today, but maybe come back later. All right, so let me keep to the plan. You want to know where's your weights at. We want to know how many pounds you're gaining a year. So if you're not going for your annual exams, how are you going to know? So you want to have that benchmark. If you're paying for your health insurance, you want to get your money back. Make your doctor's appointment. Get these exams done. So that's where you want to start with the body composition. And as you get older, then you can know where your bone density is. Because I don't know everyone's age range, but as you get older, you lose the muscle, you lose the bone density. So you have to go back to 1, strength training, 2, cardiovascular health. More you move, as they say, more impact you're going to have for your body, okay, in the long run. So we go back to the 4 pillars. 1, strength training. 2, cardiovascular conditioning. 3, flexibility and mobility, yoga, Pilates. 4, having a good body composition, finding out your baseline and see where you go with that each year, being aware, because that cholesterol will go if you're not paying attention. Hypertension, A1C, pre-diabetic, it's growing, it's an epidemic, it's turning into Alzheimer's. That's what they're going to call diabetes type 3. So it's very important that we take care of how much sugar we take in, because a lot of people take in a lot of sugar. So we're going to move on to nutrition at the end. So I'm not going to go there quite yet. Okay, perfect.
Well, this way, who's not showing there.
Yeah, okay, so, all right. So we're on to the next. We're going to go into nutrition 101, okay? So nutrition We know it's a cultural thing, you know, but we also know what's not cultural, a serving size. We have to be aware of what a serving size is. How many vegetables? We know we need to eat the rainbow, you know, a little bit of everything. Okay, any questions about the vegetables? All right, what about portion? Does everyone know what a portion control is? How to control the portion from the plate for the food? Okay, well,
We don't really follow.
we don't,
I'm
well,
sure.
long term, see, it's okay. It's long term about how we go about life. So, exactly. So when you're choosing a protein, they're saying in the palm of your hand. And then everything else is going to be vegetables and rainbow. But culturally, we love our rice. We love our carbs. But you don't need a whole bowl. You need 1 cup. That's the serving size. And that's what happens when you eat the vegetables. That's the fiber. That's going to keep you satiated. The beans, the protein, these are the things that you want to add more of. Have the protein, have the fiber, but watch the serving size of the actual carb. Because as you know, carb is energy, but it also turns into glucose, which increases your blood glucose. And now this is where we go into the tech stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
There we go.
So the tech part of technology these days, you can use your Apple Watch, a Fitbit,
We all got it.
yes, a Garmin, or a Ring. All these things can help you calculate your steps, your heart rate, right? Everyone have an Apple Watch here or some type of Fitbit? Exactly, you have an iPhone. Believe it or not, if you carry your iPhone everywhere, it tells you in the Apple Health Gadget app that your steps for the day. So if you don't have the watch, it will come up on your actual phone. And you can actually attach that to your Apple Watch if you don't have the program so you can see what you're doing and finding your zone too. So that's the next one as far as getting your steps. We already know in New York, we're getting the steps. The next up is going to be heart rate monitoring. We want to be able to know if you are exercising at your heart level. Does anyone know their max heart rate? Okay, so a lot of people, we just go out and just do our cardio and we're doing, but you don't know where you're supposed to be. So grab your pen or your calculator. 220 minus your age gets your max heart rate.
Oh.
220 minus your age is your max heart rate. But where we want to be is in your target zone. Because if your goal is to lose weight or maintain a good healthy weight, you want to be between 0.5 to 85. That 85 is going to be that high end where you're burning really a lot. And then you're going to be in your steady state. And you've probably heard zone 2. And that's where you want to find out. Zone 2 is your happy place. So that's where you want to go. Zone 2 is about 0.65. So what you're going to do, you're going to take 220 minus your age. That gets your max heart rate. And then you're going to times that depending on where you want to be in your exercise level. If you're planning for a hike, you know you're going to have to go a little bit greater in the number. If you want to just do a steady state, today's a light day, then you want to be at that low end. But you want to be able to have a brisk walk where you feel like you're really working your heart. Okay? And this is where steps come to line. How to find that endurance? Walk up 5 flights. That will tell you where you're at in your fitness conditioning. If you can't walk up 5 to 6 flights, that means you need to change your cardio program. That means you got to work a little harder. Okay? So I always tell people, if you're running out of breath, you have no stamina when you're going up 2 flights. 3 flights, okay. When you get to the 5th, if you feel like your heart rate's up and you check it on your Apple Watch, then you need to reprogram your cardio routine. Okay? So as we move on, we did the nutrition. We had the MyFitnessPal as a way a lot of people can see where they're at in their nutrition. I'm not going to spend too much time because people get really angry when I start telling them things. So I'm just going to keep it very light and very easy. The next one is Weight Watchers. If you want to find out a way to have a steady state, there's a lot of different ways to when it comes to eating. For me, I tell people keep it clean. You know, People always ask me, oh, Jaynee, you don't have any wrinkles, because I eat my vegetables, I drink my water. I mind my business, as I tell them. I try to keep the stress out of my life. But most importantly, it's getting those vegetables in and also being mindful of that. I tell people it's about mindful eating, being mindful about each and every meal. Are you getting the right amount of protein in? Do anyone know how much protein they're supposed to partake in each meal a day? Okay, we're going to do the calculations. Okay.
Work, y'all.
So-
Pull out your calculators.
So protein, we're saying that you're going to get about 30 grams per meal. And this is what exactly. You've probably heard this, probably seen it on TikTok, Instagram. And you're like, how do I get 30 grams per meal? What it is, 2 hard-boiled eggs, throw in a little bit of whatever meat, have a salad, grilled chicken, salmon, black beans, rice, all that. That's where you're going to get the protein and have the chicken. So this is where you could say, okay, did I get a serving? So this is what we're going to do. We already know your weight, right? Everyone knows their weight approximately. You're going to divide that by 2.2, and that's going to get you kgs. Okay? So we're going to take your weight and divide it by 2.2. And then your baseline will be 1.2 to 2.2. So that means that you're going to times that, and that's going to give you your baseline protein. And that's for the day. So I always tell people, it all depends on how active you are. The higher your activity, the higher the protein. But if you're not doing anything on a Sunday, you're relaxing, you don't need to have the ultimate high number. Yes. What's your name? Karina, yes.
Your weight divided by 2.2.
Yeah, that's going to get your kgs. So you can just put your weight, and we're going to divide that by 2.2. And that's your body weight in kilograms. And then your low number for your protein is when you're not sedentary. When you're sedentary, it's 1.6 or 1.2, depending how the level of your activity. Would you say you're active? I'll say 1.2, 1.4.
So multiply that number by 1.4?
Yes, exactly. Anyone have any, are you able to get the numbers? Have any questions? Okay.
When you're like trying to build muscle, what would you multiply your kilograms?
Then, I mean, you're gonna go 2.2. Yep.
So just to stop on that. So my number came out to like 100. Does that mean?
That's for the day. Exactly, depending on your activity level. But remember, you're supposed to get the normal. The normal person actually gets 30, 60, 90. A lot of people are not getting a lot of protein. You can fact check it. A minimum of 30 grams of protein per meal for an active individual. A lot of people don't get those numbers because a lot of people are intermittent fasting.
A lot of times we don't get that in our meals because protein shake?
No, because what happened is this is why I say it goes in a long story. So I'm not anti-protein shakes, I'm pro-food. We use protein shakes, but what happened is I find it with research that when you take the protein shakes, if you're not hydrating enough, you're now going to mess with your organs in the long term. So that's where we're going to go to. Yes, it's okay to supplement with the protein shake, but you shouldn't have more than 2. You shouldn't have more than 1. So if you can't get the number, that means we have to go with meal prep. And that's what we're coming up to next. We have the meal prep. That's why it goes back to mindfulness with mindful eating, mindful movement, because you have to plan. When you go out, we start off with what? An appetizer, right? And then we have an entree. And then some people have a dessert and you have wine and whatever, drinks you have. But what you have to be mindful of is how you start. Did you have a protein? Did you have a vegetable? And then is your entree has enough vegetables, or it's just strictly all carbs, because that's when you're not getting enough protein. What protein and fiber does, it keeps you satiated. It keeps you full, and then you don't feel the need to snack on Doritos in between the day that you don't need. And that's why people snack a lot, because they're not getting enough protein. If you have protein, once you eat, like let's say, for instance, you eat steak or chicken, you feel full, right? You don't feel the need to eat anything else. And that's why they're now prioritizing protein.
2 questions.
Yes.
The 30, like let's say the 30 grams per meal, is that based off of 3 meals a day or how many meals?
That's about 3 meals a day if you're not doing anything. That's the basics. And it's when you think about it, if you have, for instance, yogurt, if you do like a fudge or so, it's 15 grams for just that container. That's just, yep, it's 15.
My second question, you said for meat, it should be roughly the size of your palm of your hand.
Yes.
Is there an eyeball measurement for like the carbs or the vegetables? Because I'm portioning out meals.
Yeah.
Let's say I buy a big order or something. To portion that out, it becomes difficult. I'm not going to measure like everything.
It's like you just gauge it with your kind of, you know, when you get a slice of salmon, right? That's about, you want to have what, 3 to 4 ounces. So that's where you're at. So when you have steak, you're having that, but you're also having a salad. That's what they're trying to get you to do, is have the salad, because the salad and the vegetables, broccoli, string beans, spinach, kale, everything is fiber. And when you eat the fiber, that satiates you. When you have the protein, it satiates you. We think we need a lot, but we don't. We tend to want to eat more on the carbs. So that's why I said at the beginning, just have 1 cup. We can kind of measure it out for grown adults what about a cup looks like right about now. And that's how you do the meal prep. If you ever see people do meal prep, they have the vegetable, they have the rice, they do the protein, they do like a stir fry. That's how you have to look at it. And if you do feel like you're so hungry, that means you need a little bit more protein because you probably worked out. That's when you add more protein. If you heard me, I said, if you're not doing anything, it's 1.2. And if you're doing a big workout, it's 2.2. And I'm happy to do the numbers with you after. Anyone else have any questions about the protein?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah, we'll be sharing it. We'll put
Yeah,
it
the
in
protein
links
goes
in
on
group.
there.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. We will put it in the links in group for all of you that are Tech members. If you're not, don't worry, you'll be able to join later.
Okay. The next one is hydration.
Oh.
Do anyone know how much water they should take in daily? Half your body weight. That's the easy way. Half your body weight. And that half your body weight includes vegetables, fruits, and liquids. But if you drink more than 2 cups of coffee, add an extra 12 ounces of water. Okay? So for to get you how much hydration you should get, it's half your body weight. And that's not we're not talking about soda either. It's just water, herbal teas. And then like they said, if you drink coffee, add an extra 12 ounces.
That's very good. I think the last one was just about connecting with
Okay, and you have any more questions, that way you can connect with me is through Life by Jaynee. And I want to say thank you for your time. And remember, the key things from here is, remember, getting the steps in, moving daily. Movement is medicine. I always tell clients, no one ever regrets a workout. When you finish working out, no one ever regrets it. You regret trying to go into the store, going to get there, but you're like, oh, I don't want to do this. But once you're done, you feel great. And just remember that when you don't want to go, how you're going to feel afterwards. And remember, movement is healing. Well, the pain of discomfort. Okay, true. Well, that's what pain is coming with mobility. The pain is coming with flexibility. The thing about working out, it doesn't have to be hard. You just have to move the body. And you have to find out what works for you. That's why that's why I mentioned there's so many avenues. You can do bar, Pilates, yoga, walk,
Zumba.
Zumba.
Yeah, Zumba is my
Zumba,
favorite. I
dance.
love to
You can
dance.
dance in your house for 20 minutes and put it on your Apple Watch and dance for 20 to 30 minutes. That's cardio.
I will share, I was in shape in my younger days because I did swimming and dancing. Those were my two biggest hobbies. So I need to get back to that. So,
Thank
yes,
you for your
that's-
time and appreciate you guys allowing me to come to Visionary Vibes today. Thank you so much. Have a great year.
Yes. So up next, we are going to have Anna, who is going to introduce us to someone that's going to give you some tips and insights on financial wellness. And he's actually the author of a book that he may be sharing with you all today. So we shall see how it goes. Thank you. We have so many Annas in our group, by the way. That's Annabelle. One of our other co-founders is Anna. So we love our Annas.
So I'm here to introduce not only my financial advisor, he's a very good friend, which you are going to be amazed on whatever you're going to hear about financials. With you, my friend, Abe Garcia.
Get our money right, Abe. Come on. We need to get our money right. This is what we're here for.
Thank you to the Kelo Tech ladies, all the Annas here, especially Anna Sita over here, my Dominican lady. I'm Boricua, so you may think I'm gringo, but Boricua
No, it's okay.
adopted by the Dominican ladies and any other lady. I'm very adoptable. So here's my book. We'll talk about it in a minute. I'm not gonna have any tech problems. I don't have any tech. I'm very low tech. I have a paper that I just wrote notes on, so I'm gonna have trouble reading it. I have a very short presentation that I'm calling a holistic approach to flow. Flow is financial literacy and organic wellness. Get it? Flow. Hello and welcome. My name is Abe Garcia. People call me ABJ. If you want to contact me, you can just go to helloabj.com. You can see everything about the flow I'm up to. You can contact me. You can request a copy of the book and I'll mail it to you, or someone on the team will mail it to you. I want to thank, again, I can't thank Anna Soto enough. Not only is she my friend, a client, she's also the inspiration behind the book that I wrote earlier this year on financial literacy. So I can't thank you enough, Anna. Free copies will be available at some point, at the end of today's session. So let's explore the connection between financial literacy and organic wellness. Jaynee talked about the 4 pillars. I'm going to talk about 4 foundations of a better, happier life. So your organic wellness is an approach to wellness that encompasses not only physical well-being, which Jaynee talked about very eloquently, how to be physically well, but we also have to think about the other pillars of organic wellness, which includes emotional, mental, and financial literacy is an important pillar of organic wellness. So if you truly want a balanced life, and who doesn't want a balanced life? Who wants an unbalanced, crooked, upside down life? Nobody. So if you truly want a balanced life, your primary goal today must be to improve these 4 pillars, I'm using Jaynee's term, pillars, these 4 foundational parts of your life. Test question, who can name those 4 foundational pillars? 1 is physical, emotional, mental, and financial literacy. So now let's talk briefly about financial literacy. Financial literacy is the ability to understand and use financial skills and tools effectively every day to manage your money in a cost and tax efficient way. If you save and invest and you don't think about costs and you don't think about taxes, you're making a terrible mistake. This foundational part, financial literacy, will empower you to make more informed decisions every single day about your money, leading to better financial outcomes and organic wellness. So the impact of financial literacy on your health is undeniable. Stress reduction is just one that I'm going to talk about for today. Financial stress is one of the leading causes of anxiety and poor health for everyone, regardless of your income. If you disagree with that, let's talk about it. But that is a fact that, everyone suffers from financial stress. Those that make $100,000, $50,000, $10 million a year, they have the same stress as you and me. So don't think it's unique to you. It's something everyone has to deal with. Studies show that individuals with higher levels of financial literacy experience less stress. What a surprise. So financial literacy leads to better mental, physical, and emotional health. So in a way, prioritizing your financial literacy should be more important than increasing your current income, right? Some may disagree, but as I just said, income is not the deciding factor that reduces your stress. It's financial literacy. So let that be a priority for you starting right now. Building a financially literate mindset. Education and resources are available everywhere. If you don't know where to go, then you're not really paying attention. They're everywhere. Encourage everyone in your network to be financially literate, because a financially literate friend is a much better friend. Money is fun when you have it, and it's hard to have fun without it. Especially when you have it and your friends don't, and you like your friend and you want to hang out with them and travel and go to dinner. It's going to be hard to travel with someone that doesn't have money. So you need to encourage your friends to be financially literate, to be more financially literate. We're all financially literate here to varying degrees, but we all need to accept the challenge and become more financially literate. So use all the resources available, whether it's workshops, whether it's online resources, or whether it's a benefit at work. I don't know where you guys work, but you
These
probably.
events.
MTA?
Here. Tech.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look, if you tell me, we can make it available to all your members. But what I do is I work with employers and I provide financial planning guidance as a free employee benefit. And if your employer doesn't offer financial planning resources, let us know. We can change that overnight. And let me talk to you about something that everyone has right now. If you contribute to a 401k, how much do you think you're spending for financial guidance and advice? If I told you, it would blow your mind. But you are paying for financial planning advice through your 401k. Anywhere from 1% of your total assets up to 4% is what you're paying. And what are you getting for it? Probably little or nothing if you're not calling those financial advisors at Empower, at Fidelity, wherever you have your 401k. Empower, I think a lot of people use them. They're formally credentialed. Use those resources that you're paying for. Call them, set up an appointment, get some financial planning, get started, because it's something you need to do, especially if you're paying for it. So in conclusion, let me just say, community support is the difference for everyone. You're a part of how many communities? Everyone here is a part of multiple communities, whether it's a church community, a Tech community, a workplace community. You got to maximize those resources. And it involves you kind of swallowing your pride and saying, this is what I'm doing. And, maybe it was a bad mistake. But if you don't acknowledge the bad mistakes that you've made and you don't seek help, guess what? You're going to probably make the same mistake again, or make more mistakes, or you're not going to fix the mistake you made as it relates to your money. So you have to swallow your pride. Don't look back, just look forward. So strong communities support each other by sharing tips on helping you improve all 4 financial foundational parts of your life. I'm not going to test you on those 4, but you've got to write that down and make it a part of your future. Positive flow. Flow, again, is financial literacy and organic wellness. Now, if you want to ask questions, I'll be here after the program starts. You can ask me any question. If you want a copy of the book, I would like you to go to helloabj.com, plug in some information, and then you can pick up a copy of the book right here. Are you going to flow helloabj.com? No?
No,
Okay.
I'm not, but I can.
And
I can.
No, you don't have to. You don't have
Okay,
to.
all
But,
right, yes.
There'll be another event we're doing. It's not a 5-minute event for me. It's going to be a half a day, 3 to 4 hour event. At where? At Stewart's Cinema and Cafe in Greenport. So I thank you for your time, and you're going to thank yourself if you begin getting started on the flow. The financial literacy and organic wellness. It's up to you. No one is going to make you do anything. You have to make yourself do it. Okay, keep flowing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abe, for all the great financial insights. And this is the book here that he was mentioning. It's called Money, Insurance, and Financial Literacy for Everyone. So definitely check it out. And so we actually want to move on to building our vision board. Right, so I know some of you that are in here have already gotten started, and please feel free. There's construction paper, there's different materials, magazines, but we also want to invite you to actually contribute to our community vision board. So all of you as members of our community and being in the room here with us today, online, on Zoom, so we want you all to provide us or contribute your wish for this community. What is it that you're seeking? What is the intention of you being a part of this community? What do you want to see more of in 2025? What have you already seen and are inspired by? I want you to share all of that. So you saw me handing out Post-its, like little butterflies and different animals. You can write on there a word, a phrase, a quote, whatever is inspiring you. And that you want to contribute to the Kelotech community. And you're going to put it up on here. And then you all can continue and, continue building your vision boards. And we're actually going to have a final guest speaker talk to us about how our presence and our confidence, how we can present ourselves in these type of situations, such as hybrid, even with dealing with tech difficulties and also having an in-person crowd. So after we're done with this, we will hear from Lee on confidence and communication. So all of you, write your words. And anyone online, put it in the chat and we'll write it down.
All right, and while you guys are doing that, we are actually gonna talk a little bit about being a woman in tech, because that is what brought us together here today. So we're actually gonna have Amin, some of you might know her, she's virtually attending and being awesome, helping us with the virtual attendees and making sure everything's good for them on that side. So she's just gonna talk about her experience being a woman in tech and share what she would like to put on the board for the community. And Denise and myself, who are part of Kelotech, I'm a part of Women Techmakers, and Amin is also part of Women Techmakers. We're gonna do the same, but we're gonna let Amin start if you're ready, Amin.
Okay, so I wanted to just really quickly share, thank you so much for having me here. If you're not a part of the Kelotech community, please get involved. And I say that to say, I'm not Dominican, but I'm a Dominican cousin. That's what I always say. I'm Nigerian, but I grew up in the Bronx in Brooklyn. So if you did, you're definitely Dominican or Puerto Rican, regardless. So it's a great community. Outside of that, I am a Google Women Techmakers ambassador. That's how I met Anna. So I just wanted to share really briefly. I can share this later for you guys in the chat and whoever is in person. It's important to just also share your story. I think what a lot of times we'll see people's LinkedIn's, we see people's resumes, but we don't really get to hear people's story, how they got to where they were. Was it easy? You know, sometimes when people just see you on LinkedIn, they think like, okay, everything was easy. So I just want to share something I've been working on my website, just showcasing my story in my own genuine way. And you can reach out to me there. And I want to share a page that has to do with using your community and your network to help share your story together. So there might be people right now in this room who are joining this event, you doing their vision board. I want you to ask yourself a question as you're making your vision board. What is it that other people will say about me outside of what I think about yourself? So look at it beyond who you are. So yes, you have what you think about yourself, but what do people who work with you, who interact with you have to say about you? Even if it's just one word. Do they say that you're a good team member? You're somebody with empathy? Do they say that you're a great leader? So I want you to think about that as you're thinking about the vision board, but think about it from the perspective of who you want to step into, even if you're not there yet. So I wanted to share that and put that in the chat. But outside of that, please join Women Techmakers as well. It has given me, Anna, Carol, so many people different opportunities. Anna and Luisa and Carol, they just did Google DevFest NYC. That's how I met Lee, who's gonna speak next. And it was amazing. They did an event with so many people all around New York City. It was very big. They leaned into their leadership and it brought a lot of people together and some of the same people you see here today. So I know I'm off camera, I'm not feeling so well, but yeah, so that's what I wanted to share. Please join Women Techmakers, join Kalo Tech, be an ally and support others on their journey as well so that we can also support you as well.
Hi, everyone. I'll be super brief because we have another great speaker lined up, but I just wanted to quickly share that this community, this group has meant so much to me since it's formed. I've never found another group where I immediately connected with everyone because they understood my situation. I'm a software engineer in tech. I'm Dominican. The way they understood me, I have never felt in my whole career, in my life. And so I'm going to put lo mejor está por venir because I feel like this is growing. We're going to get bigger. We're going to have more impact. We're going to offer better opportunities for everyone, make this space even more safe, welcome more people, and it's just going to be a really, really powerful year for this group.
So Jaynee is one of the OGs of our Kalo Tech group. She was there for most of our speakeasy adventures and brunch adventures. So we're happy to continue to have her involved. And she is actually gonna help us grow our website once that's up and running. So thank you. For myself, for me, I am still at the start of my journey in tech. I am a career transitioner. So the fact that I was able to stand in front of 500 and plus developers, computer science students and all that, and put an event together, a tech event together centered around AI, you asked me 2 years ago when I started this journey, I would have been like, that's not gonna be me. But I was up there, it was a lot of hard work, and we were able to put it together, and I was very proud. And that's why I picked these quotes to put up there, that it says, ¿Por qué no ahora? So why not now? I think we always want to wait for the right time to do something, and what this group has proved for us is that you just gotta start. Like, we'll figure everything out along the way, and it helps so much more when you have your community behind you. I'm gonna tell you right now, if it wasn't for the core, the whole group, but mostly the core group that's helping to put these events together, I don't know if we would have gotten to the point where we are today. So I'm very, very grateful because they just make everything easy. It's not hard to lead a community. It's not easy to lead a community. It's not easy to put events together. But when you have a great team behind you, it's just like, we want to be on 3-hour long Zoom talks trying to figure out what we're going to do next. Even though we're like, oh, it's just 30 minutes. No, we're there for 3 hours because we're so excited. It's never 30 minutes. So we can never do it right. So that just goes to show you, like, once you find those people that, you know, support you, that have the same values as you, that want to see you succeed,
it just makes the journey a lot easier. And it is not an easy journey to change careers. It is not an easy journey to challenge the traditions and the norms of your culture, which is something that we really bonded over, that we are very proud to be Dominican. But at the same time, there's so many challenges that we face not following the norm of our culture, which being a woman in tech, being a Dominican woman in tech, that's already challenging a lot of things. So that's why we connected in such a deep level. So I highly recommend that we welcome everybody, but if you want to find your own community where you can relate to that level and it doesn't exist yet, create it. Like if they build it, if you build it, they will come, as they say. I have a few more, so let me just read them out loud before I put them up there. I think one of our guiding principles is just to be a nice person. Like we kind of get lost in our own world and forget to be nice sometimes. But I think one valuable thing about Dominican culture is our kindness. So we'll definitely bring that in everything that we do with this group, and we want to continue bringing that. This one, I wanted to add one because it's the Statue of Liberty, and this is where our roots are always going to be. But also because it says, done is beautiful, so hecho es hermoso. So the fact that we're even doing it is a beautiful thing. We want to continue to do it. And then I have, si lo puedes soñar, lo puedes lograr. If you can dream it, you can achieve it. And that's 100% true. We had a thought. We didn't have a dream yet. We had a thought. And then we're like, let's do it. And we did. And that's why we're here today. So if anybody wants to contribute for our community board, we'll leave it up. You can contribute until we're out of here. And we'll keep bringing it to our next few events to see if we've achieved anything that is on the board.
Yeah, I'll go on.
All right.
Lee's ready.
All right, so now we're gonna have Lee, and I was gonna introduce them.
Yeah, so I was actually gonna share mine real quick, because I just put it up while they were all talking. And my intention for this community is to build strong connections. And I definitely feel like we have done that, and I want to continue to do that and go even stronger, continue to grow, and again, go further. So with that, I would love to introduce now Lee, who will talk about confidence and our presence and, just really embodying those leadership qualities that we all have within us. And sometimes we don't think that they're there, or we may be, nervous. Like I can be nervous up here right now too, but we still can embody this sense of confidence and present ourselves very well. So Lee, and yes, they can see you from my laptop, so.
Hi, Carol. Thank you. Can everyone hear me? Can you give me a thumbs up if you're in the room? Yeah, thank you. And if you're on Zoom, can you give us a virtual thumbs up just so that I know that you can hear me? Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Annabelle, Louisa, Carol, Amin in the chat. I loved meeting you all at DevFest in November, and I'm so thrilled to be here today with you all. I'm presenting on Zoom about presenting on Zoom, which is super meta. But what I want to do in this short bit of time with you all is give you some really practical, simple tools to help you increase your hormonal confidence. So I'm not just talking about, seeming more confident. I'm talking about actually feeling more confident so that you can have presence on your virtual calls and really consistency across all of your modes of communication, because you're all running from mode to mode, in person to Zoom. Just like me, tonight I was recording a radio show right before this. Now I'm here on Zoom. And how can we feel like ourselves no matter where we're showing up so that we can speak up and show up as ourselves with more confidence? And I love what you said, Amin, about telling your story. And yes, this work is really about telling your story, speaking up in interviews, in meetings, in moments of pressure, so that you can feel like yourself. All right, ready to dive in? Yes, yes, yes. So a little bit about me before we jump in. I coach people to reclaim their voice from anxiety. I want to help people speak with more ease and impact in moments of pressure. And I've been doing this work for 10 years. I feel incredibly honored to have worked in almost every industry And while I'm not an engineer, I work predominantly with technical folks. So engineers, data scientists, product managers, helping these brilliant people articulate their expertise. But really, this work comes from a very personal place for me with dealing with anxiety. And I was always really comfortable doing the work, but when I had to talk about the work or talk about myself, it was like I would lose my focus and lose my personality. Could you just raise a hand if that resonates with you, if you feel confident doing the work itself, but when you have to speak up or show up, that's when things get a little wonky? And most of the people that I support find that this happens in rooms with senior leaders. And honestly, a lot of people in levels of seniority are not communicating well. They're not giving us that warmth. And so how can we have more, structure and tools to let ourselves be more comfortable? And so, I want to know what you're focusing on in moments of pressure. And just to show of hands, and I really want to include everyone on Zoom. If you're on Zoom, just an invitation to bring your camera on. You certainly don't have to, but we're here to work on presence. So if you want, just an invite. And if you're in the room and raise your hand if what I say resonates, I want to know what you're focusing on when you're speaking, when you're put on the spot in a meeting. And these are things I hear a lot, like who here focuses on finding the right words or worrying about how you're sounding, what the words are. Does that resonate with anyone? Can you give me a raised hand if it does? Yeah, lots of people are focusing on the words, wanting to sound professional, wanting to sound like an expert. And that's really interesting because words only account for 7% of how we're perceived. Or a lot of the people I support are focusing on how they're perceived. And that in itself can splinter our attention. It can take us outside of ourselves. Does anyone here, just a show of hands, focus on how you're perceived while speaking and find that distracting? Yep. Or, perfection, finding that perfect response. And perfection, as we all know, can really harm our ability to be present. And this is what this is about. It's not about perfection. It's about presence because I believe that we all communicate with confidence when we're comfortable. When we're present, we are confident. And meanwhile, a lot of people are getting really harmful feedback that they need more executive presence or they need more confidence. But that in itself is distracting us and making us unable to be confident or present. And so this work is actually not about communication. I believe that we all communicate perfectly well when we feel comfortable. This work is about focus and being able to consolidate our focus in the present moment. And I want to give you all just a few really simple tools. And the tools are simple because they're designed to be that way. A lot of us fall into habitual behavior, and that can lead to habitual anxiety or habitual ways of speaking. And I don't vilify habits. I think saying and certain habits can actually be really useful when they're intentional. But when it's habitual, we can get distracted, we can get our attention splintered, and we lose our ability to be present and focused. So I mentioned hormonal confidence. And just a show of hands, has anyone ever heard about hormonal confidence before? You can raise a hand if you have. This is really interesting. Scientists are finding that when we feel comfortable, we think more clearly. When we feel comfortable, our hormonal confidence goes up. And so this is all related to the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the largest nerve in our body. It connects the brain through the chest cavity all the way to the gut. And it's responsible for feeling relaxed, circulation, breath, thinking on our feet. But the vagus nerve shuts down when we're in fight or flight. And fight or flight is those horrible sensations of anxiety when we're speaking, our heart's beating fast, we can lose our train of thought, we can struggle with being present and thinking on our feet. And so we need the vagus nerve to work because this information superhighway is what connects the brain with the gut-brain axis. And that is how we release feel-good hormones. And that's what I mean by hormonal confidence. Hormones like serotonin, which really becomes a foundation for leadership and trust. Dopamine, which is called the happy hormone, productivity, testosterone, which increases confidence. And so when our vagus nerve is intact, we are getting those feel-good hormones. We are accessing hormonal confidence. But when we're up in fight or flight or in our head and we're not breathing and we're not activating the vagus nerve, our cortisol, our stress hormone, goes through the roof and those feel-good hormones go away. And so, how we activate the vagus nerve, even if you're nervous, even if you're in fight or flight, is by reminding our bodies that we are safe and comfortable. And the biggest way to do that is by making sure that you're in your body. And we activate the vagus nerve by really getting heavy in our body. And so, right now, everyone in the room and on Zoom, can you lean in? And I wonder, who here finds that they're leaning in unconsciously on Zoom? Is this anything that anyone notices when you're on a Zoom meeting, you're leaning in unconsciously? Yeah, I hear you in the chat. And feel free to chat. I want to hear from more of you. Yes, yes, yes. I see that chat. A lot of us are leaning in on Zoom, and I do not think that this is new to the pandemic. I was seeing this around conference tables way before the pandemic. But when we're leaning in, and Sheryl Sandberg told us to lean in, it's really not a great book. And we really need to reject that advice because we constrict our ability to breathe and we make ourselves smaller. And we cannot feel confident. We can't access our gut brain when we're leaning in. And so when our body is clenched like can't think on our feet, if you lose your train of thought, that is going to feed losing your train of thought. And so just by leaning back, and now can everyone on Zoom and in person, can you all just lean back in your chair, feel your back against the chair? And I'd love to hear in the chat any observations about that. Does it make you feel more at ease? Does it help you breathe better? And even if you're not leaning back fully, we don't want to be so far back, but for me, I have a little pillow here, and I'm just able to release the effort of my body. More relaxed? Yeah, keep that chat coming. I want to hear from more of your voices. The thing about leaning back is that, yes, it will increase your hormonal confidence. It will activate your vagus nerve. It will counter that tendency towards anxiety. But the biggest thing about leaning back is that it's just not habitual. And that is the point. We want tools that actually get us out of our habitual behavior and force us into the present moment, that make us more conscious. And so if there's one thing that you take from today, I just want you to think about leaning back in your next Zoom meeting. And by the way, this is really important in person too. The most confident people in the room are usually leaning back and taking up space. And I do hear often from people, being resistant to taking up space. But if you're hesitating to take up space, it's very likely that you're not going to take up too much space. It's also likely that you're maybe not taking up enough space. And so I want to encourage you to move in that direction because it's not habitual. You will probably go back to the habitual behavior. And research has shown that just by being aware of our body language, it gets us out of our head. It gets us out of fight or flight. And so if that's the one thing you can do tomorrow in a virtual meeting, lean back and take up more space. The last tool I want to share with you, raise your hand virtually or in person if you find that when you're thinking deeply, when you're put on the spot, your eyes wander up. You look up or you have rapid eye movement. Does anyone notice that they do that? Yep, yep. And there's nothing wrong with this. This is actually super physiological. But because eye contact actually disrupts our ability to think on our feet, it's very cognitively taxing. But when we look up and our eyes move rapidly, it actually makes our thoughts go faster. And if you have a tendency to speak fast, this is going to make you speak faster. When we look up, we also shoot ourselves into deep thought. And I don't want you to go into deep thought when you are thinking on your feet in moments of pressure. I want you to be accessing information you already know. And so instead of looking up unconsciously, again, this is just about bringing consciousness to your habits. So for me, I will look down and I'll have a micro pause. And that allows me to oxygenate my system. I get my gut brain going. It activates the nerve. And that is one of the tools that has helped so many of my clients, especially people who might lose their train of thought or go blank. It is always a matter of needing to oxygenate the system and bring yourself to the present moment to get out of your head and into your body. And I wonder, would one person in the space or on Zoom be interested in responding to a question and trying one of these tools, whether it's leaning back or anchoring your eye contact in the present moment? Would someone be up for trying that?
No volunteers in the room right now.
No, anyone on Zoom? I know it's big. I know it's big. And I will say, as we start to wrap up, I do a free weekly group coaching class. And I do this because I want, so Elsie's willing to go. So let's
Oh,
do that.
we have another one here in the
Oh,
room too.
hello. Let's
Go ahead. Whoever
and
the
Annabelle,
virtual
what do you
person
think?
The virtual person can go.
Okay. So Elsie, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello. And what distracts you when speaking, Elsie, before we practice?
I was literally instinctually going to look up as I'm answering that question.
Yeah.
And I do that a lot, which is why I resonated at least with the last point that you've made. I find myself looking up a lot. I think it's trying to make sure that I sound eloquent. I'm in the middle of a space with like probably 30, 40 people. So it could be a little bit of nervousness. It could be making sure that I'm speaking cohesively.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. And looking up is shooting you into deep thought and analytical thought. That's where we search for the words. But do you ever lose your train of thought?
All the time.
That's why it's happening, because we're not breathing when we're looking up. We're holding our breath. So, for me, I just want you to think about looking somewhere on purpose. It doesn't actually have to be eye contact. For me, I keep a picture of my kid right here and I look at her when I'm thinking, and it helps to focus my eyes and focus my attention. And so, Elsie, quickly, may I ask you a question? And can you practice just being aware of where you're looking? And you're on Zoom, so maybe choose something on the screen to focus on. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And so, Elsie, I want to know what energizes you in your work?
It's definitely the people that I work with. I don't do well working on my own. I prefer to be in a team. I prefer to collaborate. I prefer to have conversations. It's the way that I get my own creative juices flowing, even in a professional setting that I'm usually in. So it's definitely working with others.
Yeah, Elsie, well done. And I love that response so much. Such a clear, beautiful, big answer. And what did you experience? Were you feeling like you wanted to look up, but you didn't?
Yes, I am focused on a friend that I have in the classroom. So
Good.
that's helpful because she's definitely a comfort for me. So that helped, but it was hard. It definitely took effort.
And that little bit of effort, we want to take that effort away from thinking ahead or overthinking or searching for the words. We want to give that part of your brain a job. And that's what Elsie just did. And I'm so grateful that you demonstrated that, in this short bit of time. And I'm putting you on the spot. And brava, and really well done. Thank you, Elsie.
I appreciate
Yes.
it.
And, as we start to wrap up today, as I mentioned, I'm doing a free weekly group class because I want to share these tools with more people. But I also have a free course and it has both of these tools in it. So if this interests you, I'm just going to drop this in the chat. And if our Kalo Tech people could maybe share this with attendees, this is a free course. It goes through these exact tools. I wish we had more time here today, but grab that and it'll walk you through. And you're welcome to email me at any time. My email is on the website. And it was such a pleasure just being with you all and zooming in. And thank you all for all that you do. And I'll send it back to you all, Anna and Carol. Thank you all for having me.
Thank you so much, Lee. Thank you for doing Deaf Fest also. That was amazing. And for being willing to contribute to our community too. And we're definitely not done with you. We want you back, and we're going to give everybody a bigger stage so that you can share all these amazing resources. So now we're going to go back to vision boarding.
So as we today discussed, we had Pabel talk to us about mental health and share his app with us, how these limiting beliefs can sometimes be that narrative that is constantly going in our heads that influences the way that we live our lives and how we make certain decisions. So just being aware of that. And that's truly what a vision board is and why it's so magical, as people like to call it, because when you actually put your goals, when you visualize the life that you want to live, you are now calling that into your life. You're not going to be open to seeing those opportunities presenting themselves because you've made it your business that this is what I want to focus on. So that is truly the magic of a vision board. It's about allowing you to see when those opportunities present and that you feel that you're in alignment with. So that is truly the magic. So as I said, we had Pabel talk and give us some tips on mental health. We had Abe talk to us about his flow and having financial literacy and why that is so key. I will disagree. I do think we all want to increase our income too, but I totally agree that financial literacy is a skill that we all need to hone in on and will help stretch our dollar even further when we are making all that more money. So we had Jaynee talk about fitness and nutrition, and she's still in here in the room talking to people individually, by the way. So those of you online, drop your questions and we can definitely have her answer them. Lee spoke about communication and having that confidence and presence, right? Especially with navigating Zoom. We've had some challenges today with our tech, but we're still powering through. And as a true Dominicana, showing our resilience and how we make this happen. So, and we're gonna focus now on finalizing our vision board. I did have a template that I can share also with you from Canva for those of you that want to create a digital vision board. Those of you online, that is what we promised you. So I will definitely drop the link once I finish speaking so that I can do the tech stuff. We already spoke about us. So these are some of the slides that we wanted to share earlier, but yeah, so for our vision board, some of the aspects that I would like you to think about in your life, and obviously you're going to choose and you're going to decide what is it that in this season you want to focus on. And it could be for the entire year. You can do it in quarters if that works better for you. But you can choose what is it that you want to focus on. So is it your home and physical space? Are you looking to upgrade yourself? I know some people in the room recently did some upgrades and now have some beautiful views from their new apartment, which actually inspired me because I love me some sunsets and sunrises, and I'm like, ooh, I need that in my life. Like that is on my vision board. I have to have a beautiful sunrise or sunset view, ocean views preferably, or not ocean, any type of water. I love the water as a true island girl, right? So yeah, that for me is one that is very important, is my home and physical space. It's not in the condition, you're welcome, thank you so much. It's not in the condition that I would like it to be. So that is definitely something that is on my vision board for 2025. As well as having a home office space. So I don't have a dedicated area to work in my home. And that's one of my goals for 2025 is to finally create this space where I can focus and, you know, be able to get my work done. Think about self-care and daily habits that you may want to implement. I do a daily morning skincare routine, but I want to add on a nightly one as well, because it is important to have one in the morning and at night. Not important. You decide what's important for you. But for me, that is definitely one of the things that I would like. Recreation and travel. Now, travel is my passion. So there is a whole, that's right, yes. Clap it up for the travel crew. My travel crew's in the house. All right, that's what I'm talking about. So that my vision board is going to be full of all of the places that I want to travel to, because that is definitely where my passion lies and what I have visualized for my 2025 and beyond. What do you want your savings and investments to look like? Are you aspiring to have a $50,000 emergency fund or looking to save for a down payment? Put that number on your vision board. I encourage you to put that number on there so that you can make it a reality.
Carol, I would encourage you to share what you shared with me with my own financial struggles, what the mindset should be, that instead of being, I can't do this,
How can I? Yes. And so that kind of goes back to what Pabel was saying, right? Sometimes we're so caught up in our current situation that we don't see a way out. We don't see hope for ourselves, right? And we kind of shrink into just the pressure of what we're experiencing. And that doesn't allow us to see the possibilities and the opportunities for us to, how can we get out of this hole, right? Because it's possible. As I think it was Annabelle that had shared, right? Your dreams, whatever it is that you think is possible or that comes to you, is possible by the mere fact that it came to you. That means it's a reality. That means it's something that can definitely happen. Why not for you? Why not? So what we have to think about is, how can I make that happen? How am I going to make that happen? And that is what we should be focusing on, especially putting those things on our vision board. And even in thinking, what is it going to take for me to get there, right? So for me, it's having that home office in my home, right? That's going to give me a better ability to work with clients privately, and just overall, it will help my business a whole lot. That's how I am anticipating elevating and leveling up, right, to that next level. So this is what I encourage you all to think of, is not like shrinking down into woe is me, and I have no money to do things. No, how can I get this money? What is it that I have to do? Is it, maybe even thinking of the things that you're good at, right? That you can freelance and that you can provide a service to someone. How much of it is it going to take? What is that exact dollar amount? Once you run the numbers, it makes it a reality for you, because now you have a specific goal. Now you know what it is that you're aiming towards. Even if you're furthering your education, let's say that you want to get a certificate. If you're navigating the tech industry, there's so many certificates, so many different programs. Maybe you're looking for a Microsoft certification. Put that on your vision board. Put that graduation on your vision board so that you see that finish line. You see what that is going to look like. Your romantic life, you may not be in a relationship. You may be out here dating and you want to settle down. What does that look like? What does your partner embody? What are the dates that you're going on, right? Is it walking along the river? Maybe not today on a cold day, but what is your vision for how you want your love life, your friendships, different relationships in your life, right? With your family. One of my goals for this year is to spend more time with my family. And that is definitely on my vision board. My mom being a very big one, but I want to talk to every single day of the year, although I didn't talk to her on January 1st. So we're still working on that. But no, I'm lying, because we were together for New Year's. So speak to her. Okay, you see how we sometimes mess ourselves up? Yeah, I did talk to her. I take that back. I just didn't call her that day afterwards. Anyway, but what does your character embody, right? Do you want to embody a person of trust? Like, just think of all of these values that you want in your life, that you want to go into 2025 with. Put them on your vision board. And community, right? I mean, we're all here. This community, as Annabelle has said, as everyone has shared, has been so valuable. It truly has helped us recognize our strengths and really showcase them and share them with all of you. We're sharing resources, we're growing together. So these are some of the and transportation. So if you take the MTA, we're reliable. No matter what you think, we have a schedule and we actually run along that schedule. So, but for me, like, my dream car used to be a pink Tesla. I don't want a Tesla no more, but I still want to paint cars. So I'm gonna have to decide on what that's gonna be. But just think of all of these different aspects of your life and what is it that you want it to look like. Maybe you want to have a family. Maybe you're working towards that, right? I invite you to put that on your vision board and let us know if it becomes a reality when we see you next year for our next vision board event. But for now, we will have, as Abe has mentioned, we're planning to do another event in February. We'll still talking through those details. So just have a look out for our LinkedIn page, and we'll continue to share all of these wonderful events coming up. And I think we're running low on time. So thank you all for joining us on Zoom. Thank you everyone here for joining us in person. We appreciate you braving the cold for us. And everybody is getting out of this room before 8 o'clock. Like they're all putting on their coats, like listening. No, we understand, but we do have to be out of here by 8 o'clock. So it's okay. We're good. We normally don't work that way. But okay. So thank you all. And
Thank you everybody for joining. We will hopefully within the next week or two share all the links and resources that were shared tonight. We definitely will have more events upcoming. If you are Dominican and would like to join us in Washington, DC, we will be going to the Capitol. They will be having an event for Dominicans on the Hill, and we plan to take the trip down there together. So it's a day-long event, so just be prepared. It's gonna be February 11th. So we'll send information about that too, but if you wanna shoot us a message on LinkedIn, Instagram, where else are we? Email.
Yes.
We'll respond, and we'll give you all the details that you need. But just, you can scan that Linktree code, it'll take you to all the platforms that we're on.
And our calendar of events.
Yeah, we're starting a calendar of events, so hopefully all of our events that we're planning for the next 6 months will be on there once we finalize the details. So right now, we just have today's event and the one that we're gonna be doing in February, and now we're gonna add the one with Abe that's happening at the cinema. What's the name again?
Stewart Cinema.
Stewart Cinema? We'll give the date on that.
It is in Greenpoint.
In Greenpoint. When is it? Do you have a date?
It's to be determined.
Okay, date TBD, but we'll put it on the calendar. So if you know of any events happening in the community that would be beneficial for anybody else, share it with us. We'll be happy to put it on the calendar because this is all a community effort and we want to make sure that nobody misses out on an opportunity. So again, muchas gracias a todos por venir. We definitely feel the love. It was a headache and a half to try to get everything to work, but we did it. So thank you to Amin. She was awesome online. Thank you to Luisa, who was not feeling well. She's another one of our co-founders. Thank you, everybody.